Hi, and welcome to this special edition of the Newsfeed. I'm Cody Davis.
And I'm Ellie Matthews.
And today we're going to be talking about paywalls and paid content on news websites. So, Ellie, there's a lot of talk about mediocre reporting and high quality versus poor quality journalism. And I think one cornerstone of this topic is the fact that a lot of journalism is free, and for others you have to pay for it. So what's kind of your overall reaction or takeaway to this topic?
Well, in my opinion, I think that when you're being required to pay for content, it kind of makes a relationship between the readers and the publishers. So the publishers really need to work on how they can advance their digital media outlets to encourage their readers to be like, hey, I'm a advanced reporter, come read my article. Because if you're going to pay for it and it's your paid content or whatever for these articles, you're going to want a relationship with that reporter or that publication.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I think for me, the reason I don't really like paying for content a lot, and why I always hate it clicking that subscribe button, is I like to get information from a variety of sources so I can compare and contrast, so I can differentiate and conclude what is true and what's not. So do you think that maybe if most mainstream news sources require their users to pay online, that I could kind of pigeonhole consumers to one or two sources that they get their news from? Or do you think people can...
But I also think, in contrary to that, if you're requiring people to pay for top dog reporters and they don't want to pay for that, they're going to go to certain websites that maybe aren't the most reliable digital news outlets.
Yeah.
So people are going to start seeing more of that fake news or that propaganda stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of one thing. For me, I think consumers kind of need to bite the bullet and pay for good journalism and good reporting. So I think while it's a tough pill to swallow, it's necessary in that case. So for me, I don't know about you, but I like reading actual hard copies. So I subscribe to the New Yorker and to the Atlantic, and I really like having a hard magazine in front of me. So do you think there are any pros and cons to a digital versus a print subscription, or do you think it's all good or all bad?
Yeah, so it actually is, that's a big topic for debate right now. A lot of people will subscribe for that hearty, you want to hold it in your hand, you want to go on your metro train ride to work and you want to read it. But then you're limited to that many, that amount of articles in that magazine or that publication. So one of the best parts of having a digital outlet is that you get to pick and choose, and you have an unlimited amount of publications. You can also, they're creating marketing tools, which they used to use for advertisements, which also I want to touch base on, is Google and Facebook are the top dogs when it comes to ad revenue. And all the other companies were like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to keep up with them? So they're starting to do the paywall. And that is drawing in money to use towards marketing tools to suggest different articles to you as you're reading. So if you have a subscription and you're on your phone, let's say the Washington Post, they'll use that marketing tool to to gear your attention towards a different article, because that's sort of your interest.
Now, before we started the vodcast, you actually mentioned the New York Times and something that they're kind of doing. Can you just kind of describe that real quick?
It's sort of a similar thing. The New York Times, the Washington Post, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, the New Yorker, Wired just announced that they'd be building it's called paid content, and the Atlantic. They're using marketing tools to basically suggest different articles for you.
Before you even subscribe?
Yeah. No, once you subscribe and you start reading articles, they'll see that your history, it's a common thing for advertising. Ad Weekly actually did a report on it, marketing tools to help you suggests other articles.
Yeah.
So you can actually once you subscribe, you can pick your interests, and that will help you see other articles that would pop up. Say your interest is politics. They'll have Trump, Hillary, those sort of things come up as you are reading. But that only comes with a subscription, so that's the perk of it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And people kind of worry about the cost of subscriptions, but there are a lot of academic rates out there. So for those of you watching, Wall Street Journal and Washington Post are very good competitive academic rates. So we're actually out of time right now, but thank you for joining us. I'm Cody Davis.
I'm Ellie.